That picture, right. Laptop, like stunning backdrop. It's everywhere, The digital nomad dream, you've probably seen it, maybe even felt a
Oh,
tug.
for sure. It's a powerful image. That blend of freedom, and the ability to actually like make a living. Yeah, it resonates.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. Forget the glossy Instagram, for a second. We want to really understand this whole digital nomad lifestyle, right? Like, what are the genuine upsides, the challenges people don't talk about as much? And then, if you're actually considering this, what are the absolute first things you should think about?
Exactly. Moving past the highlight reel to something a little more grounded.
Exactly. To help us do that, we've immersed ourselves in a recent podcast episode, The Digital Nomad Lifestyle, Is It For You? It's hosted by Jay Parison and featured remote work expert Lisa Morgan. They had a fantastic conversation, and we've, distilled the key insights. So let's start with the basics. What exactly defines a digital nomad, according to their discussion?
Well, Lisa Morgan was very clear about it. Is someone who works remotely while simultaneously traveling the world. Those are the two core components. Oh. The remote work itself, right? And the consistent travel. It's
Yeah.
more than just working from your spare room. It's about using your laptop and Wi-Fi, your technology, as your mobile office so you can work from wherever your travels take you.
Okay, so it's that intentional combination, right? Work and
Yeah.
travel, not just like a long holiday with a little bit of work squeezed in. Now, they also talked about the types of careers that fit this lifestyle. What were some of the common roles they mentioned?
Well, several came up. Freelancers, of course, were a big one, which, makes sense given their autonomy over their schedules and locations. Then you have content creators whose work is naturally, digital. They were highlighted. And then software developers with their tech skills, right, highly sought after. And then increasingly, just employees who can work remotely outside of a traditional office, all fitting the profile.
Right, so we're picturing someone with a career they can carry in their backpack, basically, relying on the internet and constantly experiencing new places. Now, let's get to what makes this so appealing. What were the key pros that Lisa emphasized? What's the draw here?
The biggest one, and maybe the most obvious, is just the freedom and flexibility.
Hmm.
Like imagine no office, no rigid 9 to 5. You gain so much control over how and where you work.
Right.
Want to work for a few hours and then explore. Totally possible. Need to adjust your day for a client in a different time zone and then take a break.
Mm.
It's that flexibility. It's huge.
Absolutely. Just the thought of no commute is probably enough for a lot of people. And then there's the potential for saving money. Lisa made a point of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she highlighted that you could significantly lower your cost of living depending where you go. Like she gave examples, Thailand or Mexico.
Hmm.
Your expenses could be dramatically less than in the US or Europe.
Yeah.
This can really stretch your budget, maybe even let you save more, even if you're earning the same. And what's fascinating, it's not just living cheaply, it's accessing a different standard of life for the same amount.
That's a compelling financial argument. Your income goes so much further. And then, beyond just practical stuff, there's the experiences themselves. Lisa used the term life-changing. What did she
It's
mean?
about the personal growth, right? From immersing yourself in different cultures, connecting with people, new landscapes, historical sites. These aren't just quick vacation things, they're part of your daily life.
I see.
You're constantly learning, adapting, broadening your perspectives in ways that might not be possible, if you just stay put. Like the novelty of travel needs to become genuine personal growth. Otherwise, it's just fleeting experiences.
It does paint a picture of a richer life, doesn't it? Freedom, affordability, these opportunities. It's easy to see why it's so captivating, for so many. But as Lisa also emphasized, you got to have a balanced view. What are some of the less glamorous realities, the cons that she brought up?
Well, one of the biggest is income instability,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're freelancing.
Yeah.
Unlike a regular paycheck, freelance income can, fluctuate. You might have
Hmm.
good times and lean times, so you need strong financial discipline.
Right.
She mentioned this, but what strategies did she offer to mitigate that? Are there specific tools digital nomads use?
That's a great point. She did touch on having a financial buffer, some savings
Right.
to tide you over. She also mentioned being proactive, seeking out new work, diversifying your income streams so you're not relying on one client or project.
Smart.
And then there are just practical challenges. The logistics of working while traveling. What were some of the pain points she
Oh,
mentioned?
time zones. Big one. Scheduling meetings, collaborating with people who are literally on the other side of the world.
Right.
Reliable Wi-Fi, too. It's more widespread.
Mm.
But the speed and consistency can vary so much.
Yeah.
And that impacts your ability to, actually do your job. Imagine trying to give a presentation with a bad connection.
Oh, the stress of that.
Yeah.
And then beyond the logistical, the financial, Lisa brought up the human element, which I think is so important, often overlooked, in those idyllic pictures.
Yes. She talked about loneliness.
Yeah.
You might be around other travelers, hostels, co-working spaces, but it's transient, right?
Yeah.
Hard to form deep connections when you're always moving. You're not building that shared history. It's something people don't think about. They're focused on the excitement, but it's a real human need you have to address.
Yeah, that's crucial. The newness, while exciting, can also mean no routine. You always feel like an outsider a little bit, and it takes a toll.
So we've looked at the vision and the realities. For someone listening thinking, okay, this still sounds interesting, what were the first steps Lisa suggested to explore this further?
She had some really good advice. First, acquire remote skills. Develop expertise in areas that are in demand and location independent. She specifically mentioned graphic design, copywriting, coding, and video editing. It's about equipping yourself, right,
Hmm.
to actually do the work from anywhere. Right, it's not just about wanting to travel, it's about having the skills to actually sustain that lifestyle. What was the next step?
Okay, once you have those skills, you need to find remote work.
Mhm.
She recommended platforms like Upwork, Fiverr
Hmm.
to connect with clients. Also, regularly checking like LinkedIn for remote job postings. More and more companies are offering those now.
So actively looking for those opportunities. And her final piece of advice was about testing things out first, right?
Yes.
Before going all in.
Exactly. She really recommended starting with a shorter work from anywhere trip. Get a taste of it, juggling work and travel without the full commitment.
Right.
It's a great way to identify challenges you didn't expect and to see if it really fits your personality, like a trial run.
That's smart. Very pragmatic advice. A low stakes way to experience it.
Right.
So bringing it all together, what are the core takeaways from this deep dive, based on that podcast episode?
I think it's that the lifestyle offers incredible freedom, flexibility, and enriching experiences, but it comes with, real challenges.
Yeah.
Income instability, those practical difficulties, the time zones, internet, the potential for loneliness. These are things you need to consider carefully. The allure of financial freedom has to be balanced with proactive budgeting and maybe, multiple income streams. Yeah. That's a key difference between the dream and reality.
It's not just endless days on the beach, work happening effortlessly. It takes resilience, adaptability, and planning. And for you listening, what really stood out to you? What are those hurdles that would need the most consideration and
Yeah,
preparation?
that's the question. What resonated most with you, the freedom or the challenges? Understanding your own reactions is the first step in figuring out if it's a real possibility and, importantly, a good fit.
And it makes you think, right? With remote work becoming so normal in so many industries, could we see new, maybe more balanced hybrid approaches to this lifestyle? Maybe shorter, more frequent travel with periods of settled living. What might that look like for you? It's a fascinating thing to think about.